Whoa. Hold up. What do you mean McLaren was sponsored by an anime? Well, it's all got something to do with this guy. You see, I cover the likes of Dragon Ball on my other channel, and for the longest time, I saw the likes of the MP45 with the main character Goku in collaboration where he's actually driving the car. And I'm thinking, where on earth did that come from? Well, it's all to do with the fact that Ayrton Senna and Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball's creator, were big fans of each other, and they like to geek out with one another's work, especially at one point where they actually got to meet in 1990 at the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim, which Senna went on to win that time, and maybe that was good luck, and good times were ahead. Toriyama had fallen in love with Ayrton Senna back in 1984 when he actually got to go to the German Grand Prix that year when Senna was actually driving for Toleman. Not long after Senna's performance in Monaco in that Toleman, where he nearly won the Monaco Grand Prix. If only Alain Prost hadn't actually gotten the red flag out and, you know, all of that stuff, the rest is history. But he was very close, second place in a Toleman. But in any case, Ayrton Senna had made his mark, and in Japan, he is an absolute legend. He has manga dedicated to his legacy. There is this thing called Ethno Senko, and it has Ayrton Senna and his car on the cover. You should really give them a look. They are actually really good, and the artwork is amazing. I don't think there are any other Formula One drivers that get that sort of treatment other than the likes of maybe Niki Lauda or something like that. Senna is an absolute beast in Japan. You think that Brazil likes him and treats him like a deity? No, Japan pretty much does the same thing. Japan and Brazil, Senna's fandoms, oh yeah, they are like that. They love Ayrton Senna, especially when they actually get in to collaborate with Alain Prost back in the late 80s on several commercials. I'll show you some examples. Go. This was back in 1988, before all the really big stuff between Senna and Prost happened in 1989, but McLaren were the team in Japan that everybody loved because of Ayrton Senna. All the other teams, yeah, they had their fandoms, including Ferrari, but McLaren were the only team that had a very visible fandom within Formula One in Japan, at Suzuka in particular. 見るかもらうかプレゼント実施中。昭和シェルで。 I've actually gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of looking for the Fuji TV intros of Formula One. T-Square's Truth is about as synonymous as Moby's Lift Me Up or Fleetwood Mac's The Chain. You've really got to take a look at T-Square's stuff, it's a banger. But all of this came to a head in 1990 when Senna and Toriyama actually got to meet, and Shonen Jump penned a sponsorship deal with McLaren for that year to have their actual logo on the car right above the McLaren logo. In fact, they actually made some commercials showing off, ooh, look where we are on the car. 窓を開ければマクラーレンチームスポンサード人生雲あるマークは小さく Yeah, as you can tell, it's pretty matter-of-fact and to the point, and this actually gets even weirder. Here's another commercial, and just brace yourselves, it's strange. 火曜日発売 So as part of this brand deal with Shonen Jump and McLaren, Ayrton Senna got to meet Akira Toriyama at the 1990 German Grand Prix. But Toriyama didn't document this in his own way, and this was way before social media. He didn't really have a diary, so he did what he did best, Toriyama, and documented it in the form of a mini manga, and made the mascot Battleman. And he was just talking about what Formula One is like, what a Grand Prix weekend was all about. I'll leave a link in the description documenting it from a really reliable source that pretty much breaks this down even more. Now, this wasn't some kind of simple gimmicky sponsorship just for the sake of it, like a one-off deal that you just see from time and time again to promote some kind of random movie. I'm looking at you like Star Wars and Terminator Salvation on the Brawn. No. This was a really deep and detailed collaboration where Akira Toriyama, probably one of the most legendary artists in all of Japan and probably the world, drew the McLaren MP45 and various other McLaren machinery in the style of his own characters, including having the likes of his main character Goku in the car with actually a really nifty helmet design. The detail on this is phenomenal. I really recommend for you to check out some of Toriyama's work, especially when it comes to anything with an engine in it. It's remarkable how detailed he gets. And this is just scratching the surface of it. You see Goku and various other characters from Dragon Ball celebrating with the MP4 McLarens there, and then there's this commemorative cover of the year with the McLaren there, as well as many other Japanese sports people from that year. So this was a really detailed collaboration between Shonen Jump and McLaren as part of a legendary year of 1990. So McLaren, I think that was a really good deal, and I really think you should revisit that. Go back to Shonen Jump and maybe spark that up a little bit, because I think Lando Norris is pretty popular in Japan. This was a collaboration between the likes of Shonen Jump, Honda, the FIA, and McLaren to encourage young Japanese folk to get into Formula One. And I think that's partly the reason why Formula One in Japan is so big and why the Japanese fans are actually some of the best in the entire world, and why all the Formula One drivers to this day love going to Japan, because they're absolutely bombastic about Formula One. I'd love to go to Suzuka, it's actually my favorite track by the way, and be within the crowd there. It must be so good. That's why everyone loves going back to Suzuka, not just because of the track, but just the atmosphere as well. But I wonder why the German Grand Prix. Was it because he saw Senna there in 1984 and he wanted to relive it? Or maybe down to the fact that Hockenheim is just a really, really good track. And I'm not talking about the semi-oval that it is today. I'm talking about the one that goes through the forest. That's actually one of my favorite tracks from back in the day. On all of the N64 games that I played, oh, that was such a good track. Oh, and Jeff Crammond's Grand Prix 4, oh, I miss that game. In fact, you can actually see the Shonen Jump logo on the McLaren MP45 in F1 2020. Pretty much the best game within the Cody era of Formula One games. The logo is right there, right above the McLaren logo, right at the tip of the nose. That was quite a big deal, even though it wasn't like some Marlboro or Tag or anything like that. It was right above the logo of the team. And that's why it was such a really big deal. And quite a random one too, but it did produce some really cool art. So you've actually tuned in for a lot of the videos. So here's another commercial to just show you why Senna and Prost and McLaren and Formula One was just so popular and explosive in Formula One with, internal combustion.
人の夢まで加速するフォーミュラシェフスパークエイダーと清浄剤でパワフル&クリーン連続給油が効果的フォーミュラシェフお近くの昭和シェルへ
This is why I love Formula One so much, because you just sometimes get the weirdest sponsors, and this time it's actually a good one. We're not talking about like Rich Energy or Uralkali or however you pronounce it, but it doesn't really matter, they're irrelevant, aren't they? But let me know in the comments if you've got any weirder sponsorship collaborations, and I might go and take a look at them right now.